Hey there, welcome back. So today we will see one more case study on we can say the factors of churn in a telecom company. So we have a case study that is you can also check out with this Kaggle link, right? So what happens basically about the context, we have to predict behavior to retain customers, right? So here it is telling that you can analyze all relevant customer data and develop focused customer retention program, right? So the content is basically on each row represent a customer, right? And each column contains customers attribute described on the columns metadata. Okay, so the data set contains the above information about the data and all. So the inspiration behind this is to explore this type of model and learn more about the subject, as the question include exploratory data analysis. So this is about the data that we have. So the data set is about telecom industry, which tells about the number of customer who churn the service, right? So churned, nothing but it is like when someone start doing a job for a period of time, or no start doing some business like that. So it consists of this much observation having 21 variables, right? We have to predict which customer is going to churn the service. All right, so this is the detail of the data set. See what I'm reading this and try to understand this, because the main thing is the problem. Once we get the problem and understood the context, or we can say the problem statement, so it becomes very handy or easy to take further action, right? So let's start. We basically again start with importing the required library. So for matplotlib, to visualize a data set, pandas for all the operations with a data set, numpy again for numerical Python library. All right, Seaborn to visualize data more efficiently. Plotly as well work with visualization. Okay, so this will basically plot our graph and all the flows of data. All right, now what we have is this is init notebook mode. So what it will do is it will show plot in the notebook itself, right? So once it is connected to, and if we want to set the offline, so this is basically to get the plots offline as well. Now again we are importing warning, just because we want to ignore any kind of warning that we'll get in the process, right? So now it is telling that import the data. So we have the churn.csv. I'll also provide the link in the description, right? So this way, once we import the data set, we'll see that okay, this is imported successfully, and these are all the attribute that we gonna use in this video. Like state, account length, area, phone number, so on so forth, about all the information for the employee, right? So this is churn, whether true or false. So here you can see churn becomes our unique, we can say, or the distributive column here, right? So let's understand the data set again. Now we are defining colors for our plotly, right? And churn dict, that means if there is a 0, so it will say no churn, and if there is 1, it will say churn, right? Now again we are doing that, these numbers are hard to interpret in the format, so we create some graph which visualize them in a better way. So first we look at the distribution of our target variable, right? So this is our target variable, that is y, where churn, it will take value counts of churn. Then the data is all the data that we will use, that is the bar, in the bar we will plot that, right? So the y is value, marker is also there. And if we go for layouts, right? So layout, you can see that we are defining on churn distribution. Okay, so again it is auto size, false, width and height, everything is defined there. Now you can see that once I am hovering on this graph, so it is giving me some options again, just because it is advanced type of graph. So here you can see if it is churn, so it is showing me that okay, this much data is churn, that is 483, and the 2850, that is 2850 is no churn, right? So it got distinguished. Now what I'm doing is I'm getting the percentage of churn, right? So to get the percentage, again multiplying with 100 and dividing by churn shape, right? So it will return me the churn percentage, okay, whether it is churn or not. So yeah, the here 14 percentage is churn. Now let's visualize the state wise churn, okay, so versus non churn. So here you can see that I have defined each and everything here. If it is state churn definition, so it will get state and churn values, right? And again we are sorting the values in descending order. Then we are telling that okay, now just set the new index based on state and saved it permanently. So if we go for trace one, so trace one, you can see that for trace one what we are telling is okay, go use go dot bar where x is our state churn df dot index, this is this, and y is our state churn df dot 0, which is the values, right? And marker will also be there, name is no churn. Similarly we will do same for churn, right? Now we have data which is trace 1 and trace 2, we have initialized with data. Then what we are doing is we are defining the layout here. So the title of our graph we can see, or the layout will be churn distribution per state, okay. Auto size, again I made it I made it true. Then bar mode is stack, and margin, so this is the margin for LNR, that is left and right, right? And x-axis the state will be there, and y-axis the sample will be there, right? And legend I'm giving x equals to 1 for x-axis and for 1 same for y-axis. Now I'm plotting that figure, okay. So you can see again the I plot here. So this is the no churn, sorry, this is the churn we have. So you can see that how nicely it has defined that, okay, all the new churn here. So down the below, if it is blue, so it is no churn, right? No churn for each state. So this is the state acronyms, right? So you can see that. Now it is telling that convert string column to integer. Yeah, again we have to perform many operations. Let's say we want to do any numeric operation, so the column obviously needs to be in numeric formats, okay. So I'm doing for all the data set, just applying lambda, okay. So lambda will map each value with each and every values, okay. Similarly with international plan and voicemail plan. All right, so it will give me churn if there is value 1 and no churn if value is 0, right? Now again same thing what we are doing, we are defining create churn function and create no churn function, right? And we will call them separately. So inside them there will be nothing but a histogram, okay. But only the thing is here the color will be different for churn and color will be different for no churn. Now you can see a feature not for histogram, okay. So these are not relevant to our histogram, so I have defined them separately. And what I'm doing is I'm telling that okay, in this variable feature for histogram, so it will take values from here, and the required column that we need is the state, I would say here, for churn and non churn, and the international plan and the voicemail, okay. So active index is 0. So in the trace churn what it will do is it will check that if I not equals to in my active index, that is 0, right? So it will give me create churn for this column, else it will give me create column for create churn for this column, right? So the loop will go till we have values, and I have done it with enumeration, right? So this is that. Now what I'm doing is I'm telling this in trace churn, just put these values, but similarly in non-churn value. What it will do is it will run the create no churn function that we have defined with the same logic, right? So in this way it will get the trace churn value here and trace no churn values here. Now the data will be our trace churn plus trace no churn. This is the overall, or we can say the total data. And features, we have the length of features for histogram. Right now again we are defining a list, and we are telling that okay, in this list what it will contain, it will have the step of this dict, right? So here will be our method, which is rest style, argument will be there, and label will be there, right? And similarly for we will have the trace visible, right? Here the trace visible is true. Okay, so this is for ith trace, and for ith trace again the toggle is we made visible. Again here we again made the toggle ith trace to visible true, and this time it is with sum of ith trace and the nth future. Now we are appending this in that step. Okay, now again we are telling that okay, in slider now we have another list. All right, and it will contain different values here, like active, whether it is active, what is the current value, prefix will be there, and exchanger will be there. So this is the padding that we are defining, right? Tab of 50, then step will be there, and this is the layout shape, which here we will have one slider. Okay, and y-axis it will have the sample, and auto margin will be true. So let's again see our eye plot. So here you can see that now this is the no churn value, which is in blue color, and this is the churn value, which is in orange color, right? So here you can see the sample will be here and our feature length will be there. So if I drag or slide this length, so you can see the difference. So there is a slider. All right, so if I go with the total day cell, so it will look like this. If I go with total evening charge, it will look like this. And let's say I want to check in mid value, right? Something here or something in mid, like here. So you can see that how differently and nicely it plotted the graph. Next thing, again we are defining create box churn trace this time. All right, and create box for no churn trace. So again for create box churn there will be churn values, and no churn there will be no churn value. We are again doing the same sort of thing here for feature not for haste and feature for haste, which will give the box trace churn and box not trace churn, right? So the same thing that we have done is here as well, but the only thing will be in our graph, because this time we got the graph that is our box plot. Okay, so something here we have defined that the graph type. So here you can see that go dot box, right? And again for this same graph we can see that we got the same slider here as well. So here you can also slide for each value, whether it is night cell, whether it is total initial cell, or whether it is day cell, right? So this will get plotted in box plot, and this one is for no churn, which is blue shaded. Here you can see we are getting no churn max, no churn upper phase, no churn Q3, that is quartile range, right? And Q1, then median is here, right? And that is nothing but 25th percentile, 50 percentile, and 75 percentile, and no churn minimum value is also there. If we go forward, that we are dropping the churn values, right? Okay, so we have stored that, and this time we want to plot a core relation, or we can say correlation graph, right? And it will nothing but we are calling the core function, which will be helpful in this go dot heat map. Okay, so here you can see that we have defined z core, x core, and y core. All right, and this is the layout, go dot layout, and layout type we have already defined as a trace, which is heat map, right? And heat map or pair-wise correlation of the column. So this is the size that we are giving, y-axis and x-axis we are giving, and the margin we have also produced. So here you can see if I hover on this heat map, so you can assume or predict all the values that we want to get, right? So this is the color that is showing. Okay, for one it is voicemail plan, you can see here, right? International plans are also there, customer services and account length, right? So if we check account length with voicemail, so it will be something like here X for voicemail and Y account length. So the value of Z is here. Next thing, we are dropping column for churn as we did for no churn, then similarly we will do for churn, right? So heat map for pairwise column. So here this time you can see that for no churn, right? Now calculate histogram for time spent on day sell by customer. So here simply to plot the histogram, it is in PLT, right? So total day minutes, it is telling that bin size we have defined is 10. All right, face color we have defined this tangent, and plot x label we are telling that total day minute as per the question, and for y it is number of customers. So this is the plot show. So how do we categorize the churner and the non-churner for the time spent on date cells total day minute, right? So again we are doing import cbone for that, and this time we are defining g and we are telling that in facet grid, right? We need the data set, read that, and with the churn value, and just map that with the total day minutes, right? So we have we can see that if churn is false, so what is total day minute, and if churn is true, what is total day minute. So in this way we can categorize the churner and non-churner, right? And for the time spent that it is asking a total day minute. Next question, it is asking that find the number of customer who did opt for voicemail plan. So very simple, to get the voicemail plan, that is a specific column, we just pass the voicemail plan and value count. So it will return all the number that is for no, this is the 2411, for yes it is 922. So the name that you can see that voicemail plan. Now it is telling produce a count plot for the above result. So yeah, for this result, that is for no we have to plot this, and for yes we have to plot this. So again for count plot we will pass that, okay, we are passing the style is white grid, color code is also true, okay, then sns.count plot for x, right, which is voicemail plan, and u is churn. So here the u churn will divide both data whether it is churn or not. Okay, so again we are defining the data take from here, and you can see that if voicemail plan, if it is yes, so this is for no churn and this is for churn, and this is if voicemail plan is no, then this is for no churn and this is for churn. Now create a box plot for a categorical variable international plan, all right, and continuous variable area code. So as it is defining that categorical variable we have international plan, and continuous variable we have area code. So you can see that by name itself categorical means we can bifurcate or we can divide them in categories, but if it is continuous, right, so the area code could be in sequence or we can say in continuous, because if two person belonging from same area, so their area code remains same. So for that we are telling for X it is international plan, for Y it is area code, and the data will be our CH. So this time it is box plot. Okay, so you can see that how the box plot look like. Create a cross tab for the area code to find the churner or non-churner, right? So cross tab we are giving that, okay, just take it from CH and the code is area code, and similarly for voicemail plan. So if we get this cross tab here, you can see that if it is voicemail plan, so if it is area code is this, and no churner will be this, and if yes, so churner will be this. So this time we'll get the area code with churner and non-churner. how to pivot information using Python for categorical values. So, okay, and plot one. So again, for pivot, we simply do pivot table, right? And we are passing that data set, and we are telling, okay, index are these, that is area code, voicemail plan, right? And second thing, it is column will be our international plan. So you can see that column are our international plan. What is the area code? Okay, and voicemail plan is there. So if area code is 408, right, and voice plan is no, then if it is account length, so this will be for non churner and this will be for churner. All right, because this all providing me the churn value. If it is customer service cells, so what is for churner and what is for non churner, or we can say so this way we have the similar data. Next thing, it is asking now calculate the total international minutes for all the combination above. So we have to calculate total international minutes for all these combinations. So let's say what are the international plan, these we have, okay, and we have to calculate only yes value, right? So again we are telling that, okay, in pivot table, again doing a pivot tab, and the data is here, total international plan will be there, and index are these. So area code is this. If international plan is no, then this is the voicemail plan, and if it is yes, this is voicemail plan. So if voicemail plan is no and international plan is also no, so these are the value. If voicemail plan is no but international plan is yes, so this is the value, right? So so on so forth, we have value for other parameters as well. Now next thing, it is asking how do we understand the correlation between the variables or the columns within the data frame. Plot one and analyze. So for figure size we are giving, and this is the correlation cs.core and sns.heat map. So basically for heat map, this is the relation, that is correlation, and not is true, right? So by doing that, you can see that we got all the x-axis and y-axis data in readable format, right? And here the value, you can see that each value got printed in their cell itself, right? So we are doing annotate here, and this is a diagonal, just because diagonal, so it has one, and you can see that the correlation is nearly 96% here, and if we check for 96% here as well. All right, so this is, and this one is nothing but similar. Now find standard deviation of total night cells. So to get the standard deviation, just to use the std function, okay, and putting the column name, so it will return the standard deviation of this particular column. Now asking that plot a displot for the above result to look at especially total night cell. So the displot will be nothing but the ch of total night cells. So this is like the displot we have, okay. So nothing but asymmetric like plot here. And next thing, it is asking plot a histogram to group it by churner or non-churner for the column area code. So the column is our area code, and we have to find whether that is churner or non-churner. So if it is non-churner, so these are the area code column categories, right? And if it is churner, so these are the column code with the data. Next thing, it is asking calculate area wise churner or non-churner using count plot. So cs.area code, we have, this is the ch area code, and as type we are giving a category, right? And now we are plotting count plot. X is our area code and y is our count, right? And here u is again churn, so the churn and non-churner will be distributed, and data is our ch. Okay, so cs.area code will be our area code with the category. So here you can see, if it is false, that means non-churner. So for area code 408, this is the value count, nearly 700, and if it is churn, so the value will be between 510, right? And if area code is this one, this is the value, and if area code is 510, so this will be the value. All right, thank you.